And if I have seen someone, and I think I said this a while back when he first came on the network, was I don't know if I've seen someone with the drive and passion to make it in the industry like I've seen with you. And
truly a rising star in this industry. He knows his stuff. He's not afraid to go at people, and he's a guy that you want to go to bat for. And I'm so thankful that he's part of our network.
Cutthroat. It's very, up and down roller coaster of emotion.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me on, brother. It's always a good time when I get to get on That Dude 2020's show. It's just like I feel like I'm at home, feel like I'm sitting in my own, little crib and just talking to my brother across, the table from me. So I'm doing great, man. Today's a beautiful day.
The drive and fire and passion in some people is not quite there for this type of an industry.
Buyer beware, I'm not responsible for your mental or physical health in any way if you disagree with any of the topics I have to say. But buyer beware, just like a rated R movie. I'm not responsible for your mental or physical health if you disagree with any of the takes. You can go talk to Bucky's therapist if you have an issue with me, any of the takes I have to say. But without further ado, something we didn't expect, but questions and answers will come about August 2nd. But Trevor, we know you're busy, but thank you for coming on real quick.
No problem. Excited to be on. We're going to have a great conversation about sports, and can't wait to see what we talk about tonight.
Of course, it's going to be a long show because everybody from the United States will come in whenever they want, because we're going through all teams and their schedules here. But like most people know, I think as of June 2nd, I will no longer be here, but Cal Knight's Marvel podcast is still going to be here. I'm still going to be behind the scenes, keeping Isaiah accountable. I'm still going to be behind the scenes, make sure with Cal Knight's podcast if they need anything. That's because I'm leaving. This is my last show. You have Calvin, you have Trevor, you have Ryan, you have Ace from the Coast to Coast Network, who called him out yesterday for a certain sports team, Trevor, that really didn't do so well yesterday. LaMelo Ball, future of the Little League Soccer, NBA here. There's going to be a lot of people helping Isaiah accountable. One last Isaiah Roast Sesh, but no matter what, folks, we burp and fart on this show, so there's no filter in terms of that, except there is no cursing per se, but anything else, burps, farts, all that will be responsible. But not responsible for mental or physical health. But I can say that I guess it's weird though, Trevor, because like when you start in the sports industry, there are people that do, you're a nobody, and I tell people it's a lot of work, and just sending a lot of messages to sports groups, or just sending one message. April of last year into now. I told folks about this time last year, I almost quit. I was a week away from quitting this time last year. Like, I'll throw in the towel. I'll just go work, who knows what, and we'll figure it out at that time. But I can say I've never seen a group. Like, I know we say it's the best sports network for now, cough, cough. But just seeing this group of people kind of like, I guess, like no matter what. Like we tell people, unfortunately, Sam Ellinger and the family had dealt with some unfortunate news a couple weeks ago. But it's like a lesson, like we say in pre- and post-show calls. Like I tell you, Trevor, if you had currency from calls to money, we could put Bill Gates and at Harvard 4 times fold. His grandkids, his kids, his grandma. All those things. But I think that's what's kind of cool is that you have an opportunity. And then, like Isaiah told me, October? He was like a post-show comment. What the fart is that? I have no idea what that is. But a group of guys that really get to spend some time with. But it's been cool to get in that support, but more announcements are coming soon. But without further ado, let's get to 2 comments here before we get into some NFL action. Isaiah Leong must be partying. Trevor, it's either a virgin pina colada or it's a weird soccer mom drink that only soccer moms drink on Hallmark Channel. Again, I don't watch Hallmark, but once a year on a mother's birthday, I said, James said, "Hi guys, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing phenomenally well. Thank you all for the support these past couple of months here." But Trevor, the NFL schedule came out about a week ago. I know we talked about your Chargers. We talked about Isaiah's 49ers. Isaiah flipped out when I said the 49ers 7-10. He nearly laughed at me like we laughed at his takes here, but I always forgot because it's been a long day. But a quick video. Folks, if you're going to talk trash about sports, you need to 100% guarantee that you can guarantee a win. But a certain guy on this network clearly has not learned his lesson after 50 times fall. Trevor, you know who.
It's the changing of the guard. Out with the old and in with the new. Goodbye, Indiana. Go to LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets. Why I talk so much crap about how the Hornets were going to beat the Pacers and how this was the changing of the guard and all that stupid crap? Why?
Oh, really, Isaiah? Is that how you feel about LaMelo Ball? If you know you start betting the Lakers, there's no question LeBron is clutch here. But, you know, Trevor Shree comes in trolling like he always does to me, sending you some vegan barbecue.
One day, Shree's going to trick you. He's going to invite you out to a restaurant, and you're going to get some vegan barbecue, and you wouldn't even realize it.
No, I'm going to smell it, and I'm going to ask the chef, is this vegan barbecue? Because if not, I am going to have them know who I can't say some vegan barbecue. Ooh, I can't believe that's true. As a going away present. But again, it's about it being trolling and everything as the sorts. But James, you're right. Isaiah jinxes his sports scenes a whole lot of times. Like I said, 49ers going 7-10. But Trevor, if you had to pick a team we could talk about for their schedule, which one would you like to discuss?
You know, I feel like the biggest one that people are looking at is the Green Bay Packers with, like, what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers and how can, you know, decide if they're going to have, like, you know, a really, you know, a double-digit win season or, like, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play, are they only going to win, like, 5 to 6 games? So it's going to be one of those types of predicaments where you can end up seeing and looking at, you know, out of all the NFL schedules, the one that sits in, like, the most questions without any answers is Green Bay for sure.
Speaking of that, if you want to talk about the first game, the Houston Texans, or sorry, that's the preseason, but the Texans, oh boy, breaking news. Jeff Driscoll is also on the roster, Trevor, for the Houston Texans. Ryan Finley, Tyrod Taylor, David Mills, Jeff Driscoll, and Deshaun Watson. But the first game of the season is versus the New Orleans Saints. Trevor, I'll let you go first here. If you had to pick between the Saints and the Packers, let's just say if Aaron Rodgers is there. Oh, no, let's look at this. If Aaron Rodgers is not with the Green Bay Packers next year and Jordan Love is starting, who would you pick in this game and how do you think that game could potentially go?
So if we're looking just without Aaron Rodgers being there, I'm going to go with the Saints. I would say they're still the most complete team in the NFC in general. They have elite wide receiving cores, strong running back, and Alvin Kamara. So it's like it's really nice. Yes, they may not have the quarterback solution and with the Saints, but at the same time, they still have everything else. So you just need above average quarterback for the Saints for them to win that game. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of like pressure on the Saints to be able to, you know, lose that game. If they lose that game, then it'd be, you know, pretty insane how they end up losing it because maybe like the quarterback makes one bad throw, kind of throws it out. But overall, I would say, you know, the Saints would take care of business and beat the Packers if Aaron Rodgers is not there.
Of course, my man, but there's a comments before I give kind of my thoughts here. Packers 14-3 with Rodgers. Of course, man, it's that division with Kent Cousins, and you have Chicago, who has a franchise quarterback, like I told a potential guest on Cough Cough, that do not rush Justin Fields 0-17 without Rodgers, man. Ace, if you're coming in here for a minute, I would love to see you and Brandon kind of get some trolling in here for the comments. But in the final show, that one due 2020 on the Mi6 Sports Network, I'm going to maybe regret this, but it's my last show with Isaiah, so cross my fingers to Trevor. What's up?
How about them Lakers, man? How about LeBron James, who tonight introduced himself to the Laker Nation? This was LeBron's. I know he won a championship with the Lakers, but this was LeBron's welcome to the Lakers moment. This was he is officially a Laker moment, and I'm so damn happy, man. But I'm just got off work, man. The A's lost 9-1, so nothing to be really happy about there, but it doesn't matter. Lakers won, so who cares? So I'm for the train right now, but yeah, got some time. What's up?
We'll put you back in here in a minute. How about them A's? 9-1. I thought they were going to the World Series there. Oh, wait. Oh, boy.
I see our comments. Yes, our comments tonight.
Let's go.
Oh, put them on.
Isaiah, how about all that honey? Let's bring it back in.
How about
How's
that honey,
going?
Isaiah?
And also, Isaiah, how about that? How about them Charlotte Hornets? Was he the future of the NBA? Was that in 2K? Or is that actually in the National Basketball Association? I'm having trouble trying to figure that out here.
First of all, let me say this. Adam Barber, my man, start buying them eggs, man, because you're going to have to crack an egg over yourself after this Lakers great win tonight. But yes, I will do the honey thing. I'll probably be doing it before No BS on Friday, since I won't be able to show up next week on our show since I have to work A's games. But I ain't hiding, man. I'm definitely going to be doing it probably this upcoming Friday.
Can't wait to see that here, but man, oh man, I love some of his comments. Brandon Herrera, you can't escape. I'm here. And unlike the gingerbread man, you can't hide. Isaiah Leung, who cares about your Lakers? I understand being a Pistons fan. I totally understand your frustration. Adam Barber, it doesn't matter what you think, man. Keep those coming here. But the Saints, though, Trevor, this is the thing. It's like, I don't know if you could blame the coach. I don't know if you can blame the organization, but for some reason, they are like in my opinion, like the Raptors or somebody of the NBA, where they do phenomenal in the regular season, where they get the highest seed for the playoffs, and then come playoff time, they just for some reason come short. Now, Jameis Winston, of course, is going to be the starting quarterback because I mean, you both know that. We call empty calories. A bag like this right here, empty calories right here. It's really nothing at all, and that's the Taysom Hill contract here. But I don't really expect. As much as I love Winston in this game here, I expect him to probably throw for about 220, 230 here, and then maybe let Alvin Kamara do his thing. Because the fact of the matter is, we both know, we saw this with Raheem Mostert. We saw this against the Bucks. The Packers defense is as disciplined as a toddler trying to learn how to potty train. And that's where if I had to pick a team, it would be the Saints, not because of the quarterback play, because that defense, you can't trust that defense, Trevor. I mean, you can always talk about numbers. I mean, look at the Packers here. You get torched by Scott Miller to make it 24-10, I believe, before halftime in the NFC Championship game. And who the Packers re-sign again? In the free agency, Trevor, Kevin King. Actions speak louder than words, and it's just you've been around kids or someone that's young when you're learning. You do the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And Packers, this could get ugly real quick. Jordan Love, and they signed out what's his name, Herbert, that second, third string quarterback from the Atlanta Falcons to the roster. So this tells me, Trevor, with the amount of quarterbacks they're signing, regardless if they're backup or third stringer or practice squad, Aaron Rodgers is hopefully going to be gone. Because if so, I'll come an emergency show here on the Mi6 Sports Network. But what do you guys say, man, before we let you go?
Yeah, man. All I'm just going to say is, I'm going to make 2 points about the Packers point and also about you, John. But before we get to you, about the Packers, listen, I think someone was bringing up that game against the New Orleans Saints. If Aaron Rodgers is not there, then I think that the Saints will probably win that game handily. But I don't trust that Packers defense. I really do not trust that Packers defense. And Sean Payton, with on a week-to-week basis, he's already really hard to beat in terms of game planning. But if you give him an entire offseason, he's going to devise a really creative offensive game plan that's going to have the Packers looking really lost out there on the football field. But in terms of like the Packers in general, I think what's his name? Aaron Rodgers has played his last snap with the Green Bay Packers. I've said that before on various shows on this network. I expect him to be traded. I could see him probably being traded by June. And also, one last thing before, I got to head out to catch my train is, John, even though me and you, I don't think we've rarely agreed on anything on this network. I mean, in the time that you've been here, I think the total amount of times we've agreed is probably like 9. I don't think we've even agreed like double-digit times in your entire time here on this network. I really don't. But, it's been a great honor and a pleasure having you on this network, man. It's been so much fun having you on this network. It's been so much fun, beating down on you every single show, every single debate. I don't think you've even beaten me in a single sports debate. So you're gonna leave here winless, man. I know why you're leaving, man, because you just can't handle me. But in all seriousness, though, it's been great having you on the network. Looking forward to what your future plans hold, man. And you know what? I know you're going to do great at it because not only are you very passionate about the sports industry, but you have one thing that, a lot of people don't have. And that is you really don't care about like what other people's feelings are. You just go out and speak your mind. And that's what I love about you. But it's been a great time on this show, man. Great having you on this network, John. And good luck to your future endeavors. For sure, man. Thank you so much. But remember, just because I'll be leaving, I will be watching you behind the scenes. I'll be talking potentially on an episode. I will keep you held accountable. Even after tonight, I will no longer be a part. I will no longer have that one do 2020 a part of the network. Also, you've only agreed twice here, but I've beaten you down many times just because. Ooh, Isaiah Leong, John Alcorn may be gone soon, but I'm not going nowhere. Be afraid, very afraid, just like Darth Vader told his son before he cut his arm off. And by the way, that's Star Wars, not Marvel. Ace, if you think I'm insane and delusional about my Niners or my Phillies and my Lakers, watch out, man. Come football season, my Niners takes will be off the charts. But yeah, it's been a great show, guys. I'll catch you guys later. All right, Isaiah, take care. Again, like you said, folks, with future plans that won't be said, but people that need to know do know, but that will be announced August 2nd here. But sure, with the second game here, man, it should be really an easy one, but it's very difficult, though. You got the Detroit Lions, week 2, Green Bay Packers. I'll let you go first. Jared Goff has nobody to throw to. And the problem is we keep saying a lot of these games are really going to be hard to figure out. Mm-hmm. If there's no Aaron Rodgers, who do you really trust in this game? Because I don't know one. Oh, Brashad Perriman, I think, is Jared Goff's number one weapon in Detroit. It's still not. For some reason, I feel like there's a side of me where it's like saying there's going to be no touchdowns scored in this game. Or if it is, it's just based off of pure good field position. But I'm seeing like this game looking like, maybe like 12-6 or like 12-9. It's not going to be pretty, but somehow they're going to score touchdowns. It's probably going to be looking like, 28-17. It's like, okay, it seems like a, typical regular football game by the end. But I'm not, really convinced on how this is actually going to go down. Like, without Aaron Rodgers, this game's going to be relatively close. But since Goff has more of the experience, I want to go Goff. But at the same time, if Jordan Love gets into a rhythm, gets comfortable, if he battles the Saints close and falls short, I guarantee you, Jordan Love will be fired up to, be able to win that second game and not being in a 0-2 record right out of the gate. So it's going to be that type of motivation. It depends how he plays in the first game, but it's going to boil down to, if Goff can, be effective. We've seen him in the past where it's like he's not putting up crazy numbers on his time when he was with the Rams, but at the same time, it was like,
he somehow, like, you can say the Rams defense carried them to the Super Bowl, but like Goff threw some passes, but he threw so many interceptions to balance out his touchdown ratio. So it's like for every touchdown, there was like almost an interception like to counteract it. So I don't know how you're going to really pick this game. I think it's going to be relatively close, but I'm going to say if Jordan Love does well enough in week 1, I'm going to go with leaning with the Packers on it.
The only reason why I would say Detroit, not because I don't trust in Jared Goff, I don't trust in that organization, I don't trust in that coach, but I, more importantly, do not trust that Packers defense. I understand, like, if you like what Rashad Penny, none of these guys have been number 1, number 2, not even number 3 receivers here. Jared Goff, like I said, he benefited from his weapons. But can you trust him to put the team on his back? He's not that type of quarterback. He's shown them, well, even with the Rams. There's a reason why the Rams traded him. Not because they believed in him. Because if they believed in him, they would have kept him. Because he looked at that Super Bowl. Like, he looked like literally a deer in headlights. I picked the Lions not because I trust them. I think they're going to do just enough because, again, I don't know what it is about that Packers running or rushing attack or passing attack defense. For some reason, all along, their defense is just not disciplined at all. A little kid, or Tony Stark was more disciplined in Iron Man 2 than the Packers defense is every single year. And I know that's saying a lot here, but week 3, I know Isaiah's not going to like this one, but Trevor, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Green Bay Packers. Who would you pick, and what do you think is going to separate the 49ers from the Packers, even though they may not show up in the numbers?
You know, the 49ers are coming off of like an injury-riddled season last year, so I guarantee you they are fired up to make a playoff push. I guarantee you that your defense is at the point where it's like pieces of that are going to start reaching like their quote-unquote middle-age life in the NFL, where your defense gets too old and their speed decreases and stuff like that. So you don't want that in your defense. So this is like almost like a championship or bust type of window that the 49ers are in. It's not going to be easy for them to run through the playoffs and all that stuff. But if they stay healthy, and I have no idea who they're going to be at, who's the quarterback. I'm assuming it's going to be Jimmy G, but we'll see in the preseason who wins the starting quarterback job and all that stuff. But I think that, like I said, if you're looking at the team as a whole, the 49ers are just bringing back all their starters who were injured. Now they're starting again. So it's like there's no new pieces that they have to worry about. They have a quarterback, even if it's not Goff, Trey Lance will, take care of the reins. He has weapons to throw to, though the 49ers offensive line is not the best in the world. They're pretty trash. But if they can actually hold something together and actually give, Trey Lance, extra time, a little extra more time in the pocket, then maybe, the 49ers are going to pull this one out. But if that is the case, I'm still going with the 49ers because that defense is pretty rock solid. And that's what kept the 49ers in a lot of those games when they were all healthy.
I think the biggest thing, like I said, the offensive line, because they're great at left tackle, signing Trent Williams again to a 4 to 5 plus year deal, having to, of course, overpay him to keep him. But the problem is you still got your right guard. You still don't have a center. I mean, you got, what's his name, that Grant Cohn doesn't like as offensive line. I totally understand. But this game, see, this is really hard. I'm sure. I feel like all of these, because June 1st or after on a certain cough, I can revisit this, but I would have to pick the Niners. I mean, for some reason, they do the running back by committee. Their defense is able to get – I trust their defense more coming back from injury than to do the Green Bay Packers. Because, again, I know we said this, but I think, in my opinion, it should be obvious with anybody. The Green Bay Packers, I believe, would be the most questionable team going into next year because you have no idea who your quarterback's going to be. You don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be traded. So if Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be traded or is going to be traded – that NFC North, I mean, you got the Bears who are the Bears. You got the Minnesota Vikings who Cousins can't play quarterback, which is why they drafted Kellen Mond in the 3rd or 4th round because apparently they don't give out participation trophies. But I would have to pick the Niners in this game, not because of the quarterback. I don't trust Jimmy G. I don't trust Jordan Love. I don't trust the guy that Ken Kilber, I believe, from the Falcons, but it's going to have to be defense. I mean, you got Bosa, you got all those guys on the defense side of the ball. I trust them without a doubt. But this next one here, oh man, the tale of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks potentially, the Steelers versus the Packers. Trevor, they both have a great history. But with Big Ben and the Steelers coming off an off year, how do you think this fares to them in this game, knowing that if the Steelers don't win it all this year, they're going to have to blow it up and start over in 2022?
It's something I would say with the Steelers, though. They got what? Actually, I want to say Najee Harris as their running back in the draft. So it's like they have a running back. So it's like, all right, if they tank again, like they'll get another quarterback and stuff like that. So it's like they're not in bad situation yet, but it's like Big Ben's like last stand or last hurrah. But, if there's no Aaron Rodgers, I'm still going to lean with the Steelers, because that Steelers defense has been, the steel curtain for, quite some time from, in other years it's not been as strong, but, it's still a good, solid defense every now and then. So I have to give them props for that. But I think it's just that Big Ben is that veteran quarterback going up against a rookie quarterback that may not get enough time at the tail end of the game, because when you have a veteran quarterback, they know how to manage that clock and make sure they have the last drive and really put this game, out of reach for a rookie quarterback to come back from. But every now and then, the rookie shows up the veteran and puts him in the place. But I'm going to start relying on the Steelers defense to keep the, Packers at bay in this game.
Of course, Ace, thank you for coming in. But this game, you have the Steelers and the Packers. Now, I understand your feelings and thoughts about Aaron Rodgers. Let's say Aaron Rodgers is there, regardless of, I guess, your fandom. Who would you have to pick to win this game, regardless of Pro Football Focus or the touchdowns or yards backing up?
Well, purely on this game, just based alone. And Trevor, let me tell you, I came on here because I could not let you get away with talking about my Packers without me on this show. But all right, so with that, I will say this. In this game, purely alone, I like what the Steelers do on defense. Their defense is so good that oftentimes we don't have the receivers to – when we play a really good defense, we don't have the receivers to be able to put up so many points. Of course, if Rodgers is there, it could be a different story, but still, I don't think it'll be enough, so I would still pick the Steelers to win this game just based off of defense alone.
If it's – for me, if Aaron Rodgers is there, it's the Packers. I understand, Ben Roethlisberger has, the one more ring, but the Steelers are much more pressure to win right now because they have to. They don't have a choice. Big Ben is coming back for another year. You have Najee Harris, which I don't understand how that's going to work. Though you're going to be run, pass, because when you're that type of offense, how did that work out last year when you're pass? You bring back Juju, you got Dante Johnson, you got Chase Claypool, but at the same time, none of that really matters if your offensive mindset doesn't change, because their mindset last year got exposed. Juju, this isn't the same old Browns, and you went to 11-5, 12-4, you got exposed. So how is their offense going to be run this year? Because there's so much pressure, because they have to win now, because this could be Big Ben's last year in the NFL.
Now, keep in mind on this too, John, because we all know that I'm a huge Packer fan. Okay, number one, I'm there, baby, I'm there. But one thing that we're going to struggle with this year too, again, is offensive line. We've lost a lot on the offensive line. We have a bunch of basically rookies that we just drafted that we're like, hopefully they can come in and play on the offensive line. Right now, I just don't know. I don't feel secure enough with our offensive line, and Pittsburgh can bring it. They can get sacks. They can be a sack-heavy team, especially with T.J. Watt. That dude's a beast. And so at this point, my concern definitely in this game would be how our offensive line could hold up.
Totally understand the offensive line, because thanks to my Broncos releasing a certain player, because apparently if you're going to pay a player, he actually has to play on the field here. I pick Aaron Rodgers. It's like what Ace I was telling Trevor here. It's one of the Packers are the most unknown team, just because we don't know who's going to be the quarterback next year. And if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, you're probably never going to see this. I will print out the contract myself. I will come fly down there, get either a box of Omaha sticks, or a bottle of Jack or Monsters, whatever it is. sign the flipping contract so you can be the next quarterback of the Denver Broncos, because you won't hear enough in the comment section talking trash to Trevor next year just because, again, they have the better quarterback right now. Even with Drew Lock and Teddy not being the long-term answer, but not enough on that rant. This next one should be really – it's a tale of two young potential quarterbacks. You got the Bengals, Joe Burrow coming off an injury, Trevor and Ace versus the Green Bay Packers. Trevor, I'll start with you because I know you got a couple minutes here. Thank you for coming on. Joe Burrow's coming back from injury. They could have drafted offensive line out of Oregon. Instead, they draft his homie, Jamar Chase. How do you think it's going to help them in this game to potentially maybe they can compete versus the Packers? Keyword, maybe.
Looking at those two teams, if Jordan Love is the quarterback, it's going to be really hard because, we saw Joe Burrow last year with no help on his offensive line and somehow completing 2-minute drives without, any type of issues, any types of struggles. He was making he's been in the league, for at least 4 seasons already, knowing how to command that field with no help by himself. So, we've seen him being, duking it out with Baker Mayfield, coming down to the wire, to, taking the Chargers in overtime. And the only reason why they lost was because their field goal kicker missed an easy chip shot, all right? So, Joe Burrow is a good quarterback with no help. Imagine if he had an offensive line. If they drafted for him to be successful after this injury, now I would be leaning more towards the Bengals. But since they didn't really address a lot of those key needs, I'm going to have to say the Packers are going to take this game just because they just don't have the needs that are met just yet for Cincinnati. I don't know if they will ever be met, depending on how the owner wants to handle things and what Joe Burrow really desires. But I think having that offensive line was the most crucial thing for Joe Burrow to be successful, to give him a little more extra time in the pocket. But he's not going to have that. He's going to be forced to be a somewhat of a mobile quarterback, but he just came off of an injury. So how reliable is that mobility that we can really trust? And before I, hop off, John, I want to thank you for all your time at the Mi6. It's been fantastic. 8 months. Remember when we got you on, and all the post-show calls that we had on top of it. Very fantastic. And, we even have our own personal calls to, we make our joke, when you said you were leaving, turn in your badge and gun and stuff like that. But, all, jokes aside, it's been a fantastic time to be, sharing that time with you. And I wouldn't trade anything in the world. So, I wish you best of luck in your endeavors. And, yeah, my final pick for this game, I'm going to go with the Packers. Oh, John, you're muted, buddy.
Thank you for coming on, but I'll go buy get my level 3, get the gun, and get my badge, and then I'll turn it in. But I don't know who HR is for Mi6, but no, it's not Isaiah, because that would be like having Michael Scott and Dwight being HR for the paper company. So, but thank you for coming on, Trevor, and good luck, and we'll see hopefully some trash talking next year if we do get Aaron Rodgers.
All right, I'll leave that to you. All right, take care.
But Ace, in this game, this is going to be one of those where it's about swallowing your pride. Yes, this could be an easy win, quote unquote. Joe Burrow's coming off an injury, but despite all of that, because you know how the Steelers last year, they weren't able to swallow the pride, and the Browns destroyed them in the playoffs. But how do you think this fares for the Packers, and how does that affect them moving forward, regardless of who's the starting quarterback is going to be?
I like this matchup. I'll even go with Jordan Love, even though we still don't even quite know what we're going to even have in Jordan Love. He got 0 snaps last year. There was no preseason last year. He didn't even practice with the first stringer. So I don't even know what we have in Jordan Love yet. I'm waiting to see on that. But I still think that this is a matchup, regardless of who's quarterback, that I think we could still win. I don't trust Cincinnati's defense, but I also don't trust Green Bay's defense on the other hand. But when I look at that, Joe Burrow is coming off of that injury, just like Trevor said. Is that injury going to affect him? Maybe, especially on the mobility side. Now, depending on who's quarterback, Rodgers can still run it. Jordan Love, obviously, he's young enough to where he could still run it. He's not injured at this point in time. So at this point, I'd say just a little bit in the favor of Green Bay, but I still want to see how this is going to pan out between Rodgers and Jordan Love.
I get that, and I would have picked the Bengals in this game if Jordan Love was the quarterback, because if the Bengals addressed the offensive line, Joe Burrow could come out of the pocket and have time to throw down the field. But like I told people, Ace, I don't feel bad if Joe Burrow gets re-injured next year, because not because he's a bad dude, but you decided that you wanted to play with your homie. You decided you wanted to play with your bro versus your long-term career, and I can't feel bad if this happens to Joe Burrow. I mean, I understand you got rookies for the Packers, but it's not going to be a good battle of the offensive line. But I'll have to pick the Packers. It's weird, but I trust Aaron Jones. You got Devontae Adams. Maybe, because if Aaron Rodgers goes, Devontae Adams, he may go too. But who knows what that happens at that point in time. But I'll put the Packers for now. But it's a huge question mark just because, like you said, I said they're most unknown team next year because who really knows at this point in time here? But, of course, Brandon comes in with more touring like he always does. 49ers beat Packers 21-2 here. The Vikings will start 0-2, and they run the table with 15-2 with Kellen Mond. Well, I think you need to be drug tested live on air, but thank you for the comment there. Steelers by 24, Packers 0-4. See, I understand that they don't have snaps with Jordan Love just yet, so maybe that could be the shrug on your shoulder to where, hey, people don't believe me, people don't know what I have, so that could be maybe to his advantage because there's no game film on him just yet, but at the same time, like you said, a lot of the offensive linemen they have this year are a bunch of rookies, so who really knows in that point in time here, but we'll kind of next one before I to go here. We got Washington, who I have winning the NFC East next year versus the Green Bay Packers. That defense, man, this is something special. You got Trent Williams. You got another offensive lineman to up and get a new contract with Washington. But who would you have to pick in this game? Because defense is really more better to spend with Washington, but you also have a team, if they have Aaron Rodgers, they can run the table yet again and go back to the playoffs.
Trust me, I feel you on that one. I mean, that Washington's defense, whoo, boy, are they good. I mean, especially that defensive front, man, they are wicked, especially with Chase Young there. He's young, he's hungry. Man, he going to be something good. But what do they really have on the offensive side? Right now, they're going to obviously roll with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to do, unless we see some kind of free agent signing, which could be maybe, or they might even try and go out and make a trade for some kind of veteran, but I don't see that. I think right now they're going to use Ryan Fitzpatrick as a bridge quarterback. So when you look at this game overall, which quarterback would you trust more? Would you trust Ryan Fitzpatrick more? Or let's say if Aaron Rodgers is playing, or would you trust Aaron Rodgers more? Well, obviously, in that aspect, you're going to go with Aaron Rodgers. So at that point, I would take Rodgers. If Jordan Love's in the game, I think I would still take Green Bay. It would be close, but I would still have to go with Green Bay.
The only reason why I would pick Washington is not because of the quarterback position. There's no question because of Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers here. It's one of those where if the Washington plays their cards right in the next 3 to 4 years, they could be a true NFC contender. You have your left tackle, or you have your offensive lineman. You have one guy that's renegotiating his contract here, Terry McLaurin. You got the renegade. You got the tight end. They're playing it right here. But I pick it because this game, man, you get Chase Young, all those guys on defense. It's one of those where it's not going to be the battle of the quarterbacks. There's no doubt that, first of all, Brandon, I know you're trolling here, but if it was between Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jordan Love, yeah, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick because he's a first quarter quarterback. Through the first 4 to 5 to 6 games, he's going to be, MVP conversation. And then we know the rest of the story there. The Washington's playing their cards right, but I pick them. That defense to me seems more interesting. They're young. They're more hungry here, especially what happened 9 years ago. If they get back to the playoffs again like they did last year, they don't want the same type of story yet again here. But Isaiah, your Lakers are winning it all. You better believe it, my man. Well, first of all, can you 100% guarantee that? No. And also, this isn't Back to the Future, Isaiah. So when your take, like Ace is starting to already knows, when your take comes to bite you in the butt, I don't want to hear no excuses. I'm leaving MI6. You can't pull a me. You're with MI6 forever, just like I am when I can help out. So no, Isaiah, your take will come to bite you in the butt again. It's like you will disown your Phillies and your 49ers. You will cancer their season, but when they're good, you love them. But when they're not, they're garbage, just like with the Lakers when it looks like they were going to lose tonight here. So don't be celebrating when you didn't have full confidence in them throughout this whole game. But this last one is before I let you go here. Arizona Cardinals, they're playing pissed off because last year, number one scorer in offense through the first 8 weeks. That catch versus the Buffalo Bills. But if you had to pick, let's say Aaron Rodgers versus Kyler Murray, who would you trust more in this game? Was it be Cliff Kingsbury or Aaron Rodgers with the Green Bay Packers?
I would have to go with Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers. I don't trust Cliff Kingsbury. I don't think that he's actually going to be a good NFL head coach. I just don't think he is. So when I look at that, I would obviously have to go with Aaron Rodgers. I like Kyler Murray as a quarterback. I do like him. Last year, Arizona should have actually made the playoffs. They actually had a good enough team to do it. Kingsbury's just not. I just don't think he's going to be that coach. And I think this year is going to really show whether he can be that coach. If they come out and they go 7-10 and don't make the playoffs again, then it's going to be obviously at that point, Arizona's going to be like, okay, Cliff Kingsbury's not the guy. Because when you look at Arizona's team, I mean, they're loaded. They have receivers everywhere. They should be good on defense. They should be a solid all-around team. Now, overall, this is a game that would scare me because I know that if Kyler Murray's on his game, they're loaded enough to match point for point for point with Green Bay. And so this is a game that, in the end, I would probably go with Arizona by just the slimmest margin, but I know it would be a great game, especially watching Aaron Rodgers and Kyler Murray just going back and forth, back and forth.
I would have to pick the Cardinals in this one here, but Cliff Kingsbury can't coach a Little League team. You can't coach Madden 21. You can't coach 2K. The only reason why you got to flip a job because of a personal relationship with Kyler Murray, not because you can't coach. I mean, you had Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech. Did he go to one national championship game or get even close? No. You shouldn't be coaching in the NFL. You shouldn't be coaching in college. You shouldn't be coaching a flag football league, much less a quarterback who's on an MVP caliber-like level. I blame that on the coaches. You were 6-2, nearly the top of the division. That catch between you and DeAndre Hopkins, that connection like Deshaun Watson had with Hopkins, that team should have easily made the playoffs. And they can take advantage of that next year with the Niners, Jimmy Garoppolo. How long is he going to stay healthy? Seattle is a first quarter team where the first 4 to 6 games they started out phenomenal. Russell Wilson MVP like quarterback. You can either blame that on Carroll or not. But I think Arizona should take advantage of that one. But thank you for coming on. And even though I am leaving very soon, make sure when Isaiah makes a comment, we'll both come and troll him behind the scenes because he knows he's not going to get away with it, my man. There's no way, no how. But thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. And thank you. And, of course, I'll still be in touch.
Oh, without a doubt, man. Definitely. But again,
all right,
folks, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, later.
Folks, that one dude 2020 right on the Mi6 Sports Network, the final show. And let's continue on with more football talk here. We're going through a lot of these NFL teams, so won't keep you out too long. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Green Bay Packers. And, of course, my internet kind of cuts out here, so I apologize. Chiefs, Packers, doesn't matter if it's Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre. I trust Patrick Mahomes. And unlike Isaiah Leon here on the Mi6 Sports Network, I do fear Patrick Mahomes. And just in general, the playoffs, the Super Bowl, the championship game, against the Broncos, against the Chargers, no matter who the Chiefs play, of course, I am going to fear Patrick Mahomes. Because you can appreciate greatness. You can know how talented a guy is, regardless, even though the numbers are phenomenal. Let's ignore the numbers, the wins and losses, yada, yada, yada. Let's look at the talent for Patrick Mahomes alone as a quarterback. I picked the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. And next week is the Seattle Seahawks versus the Green Bay Packers. Two teams this offseason that have had a lot of drama, potentially Russell Wilson being frustrated with the organization. Who's to blame? The GM, the head coach. Seattle Seahawks versus the Green Bay Packers. I picked Seattle to win this game because I think Seattle is going to make the playoffs and make a run. Because remember, 17 games, 18 weeks is going to be a very interesting season here, and with 2 preseason games. So I give Seattle the edge in this game because of maybe that running attack. Let's see kind of what they do here, folks. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers here. That's Minnesota. That's the Green Bay Packers. I don't care if your fullback is your starting quarterback. I don't care if your kicker is your starting quarterback. I trust the Packers here because there's no way, no how that Kent Cousins is going to take the Minnesota Vikings to the playoffs this year as we kind of finish up the Green Bay Packers schedule. A lot of NFL teams and their schedule, so just bear with me. Be patient. We'll get through it. It's going to be a great show here. Los Angeles Rams. I picked the Los Angeles Rams to beat the Green Bay Packers in this next week, and then after that, you get a bye week. Chicago, Baltimore, the Browns, the Vikings, and Detroit. If I had to pick Green Bay Packers record this year, because I expect Aaron Rodgers to be gone. So let's look at it game by game. Okay, first week you got here, you have the Saints. You start off 0-1, 0-2, 1-2. I could see them easily going maybe 8-9, 9-8. It just really depends. Despite if Aaron Rodgers is gone, who really knows how how the offense is going to play out? You really don't know. There's a lot of drama. Do you really trust the head coach here? Can we trust Matt LaPoo to coach the Green Bay Packers without Aaron Rodgers? If you remind folks, when Matt LaFleur was with the Tennessee Titans before he got the head coaching job with the Green Bay Packers, what was their offensive rank before Matt LaFleur went to the Packers? That was 26th ranked offense with Marcus Mariota. Do you think a type of quarterback like Jordan Love with Matt LaFleur, they're going to have this transcendent offense? You can't trust the defense to stay healthy. You can't trust the defense to stay disciplined. So how are you going to trust Matt LaFleur in that offense when the year before he left to go to the Green Bay Packers to get the Green Bay Packers head coaching job? Tennessee with Matt LaFleur as the offensive guy, 26th ranked offense. He made a bunch of those receivers look like a bust here. Going through a couple more teams. Go through the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2021 regular season schedule here. Week 1, Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This shouldn't be an option. I don't care if Dak Prescott had the greatest arm in the NFL, even though he does not. The Bucs are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys week 1. What else do you have to say? Let's just say Tom Brady somehow wasn't on this team for this game. Better receivers, better defense, better head coach, disciplined head coach, better organization, brotherhood, chemistry. You have instilled the type of team you want on and off the field. The Cowboys have a lot of issues with chemistry. You saw it last year when the Andy Dalton injury happened. So if that chemistry issues were that bad, then you think they improved. Dak Prescott is coming back from injury. How's that going to affect him in week 1? First of all, it shouldn't be an option. Tom Brady or Dak Prescott. There's maybe going to be some delusional fan out there. I believe in Dak Prescott. He got that contract. Was it really you believe it in Dak Prescott and he doesn't get it done? Is that the organization's fault? Again, a lot of questions. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 1 will beat the Dallas Cowboys here. Week 2, NFC South matchup, Atlanta Falcons. Folks, even if they have Julio Jones, they're not beating this team. I understand just because an NFL team is stacked does not guarantee a win, does not guarantee you're going to get back to the Super Bowl. Is their path through the NFC South a lot easier? Yeah, you got Sam Darnold, you got Matt Ryan, you got the Saints, who none of these teams have a true starting quarterback. Besides the Bucs, you can maybe say the Falcons, even though they're in potential win-now mode. But yet they still have issues with the offensive line. Still have issues with defense. You got a new head coach. Who knows? How is their offense going to play? Because a lot of times their defense and offense, for some reason, they can't close games. Or they're able to get or pretty close to a win. They're up by 5, 10-plus points. And for some reason, that offense or defense decides to blow the lead. And frankly, I don't understand how or why this team tends to blow it time and time again. You can blame the organization or the head coach. I got the Bucks going 2-0 for the first 2 weeks. Week 3, the Bucks play the Los Angeles Rams at home, or the Los Angeles Rams home. The Rams are in a lot of pressure to win now this year. The Rams' Super Bowl window is at least this short. They don't win it this year. They're in huge trouble. If they don't win it this year or next year, Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams and the entire organization are going to have some weird conversations here. But I do pick the Bucks. They're saying, oh, I'm biased about Tom Brady. Oh, we have 7 rings. No. You won the Super Bowl last year. That's great. We're talking about this season, this game, Week 3, Los Angeles Rams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There should be no conversation, no doubt, in my opinion, regardless of who's the better quarterback. Tom Brady. The Bucks will go 3-0. The New England Patriots, I will say in this one, coming home, all of the emotions, all the homecoming game is always emotional. You got your first 6 rings here. You were in the 6th round, potentially Mr. Irrelevant. 6 rings, and you come back home to play Bill Belichick. I will give – no, to heck with it. I picked the Bucks to win this game, but it's not. It's going to be a very close game here. Again, Cam Newton sooner or later is either going to get injured or he's either going to be throwing a ton of turnovers. I understand the offense last year, you had guys opt out on the offense and defensive side of the ball. So Cam Newton had his worst year of his NFL career. Despite the homecoming game, despite the emotions, despite the attention on media through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I picked the Bucks to win this game, but it's going to be a close one here. You're going to have the tail of the running game here. You can talk about stacked receivers or offensive line. That's great. It doesn't. I'm not looking at roster. The better roster on paper doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win this game. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win a key game. Just because you have a better roster versus the team you're playing doesn't mean you're going to win. Regardless if they're playing the Jaguars, the Bengals, the Colts, yes, you can toss some guaranteed wins if your team that you're playing, it basically plays their second, third stringers or practice squad. But in the NFL, anything can happen. Despite a homecoming game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New England Patriots, I do have the Bucks winning this game here. Miami Dolphins and the Bucks. It's a tale of 2 coaches, Brian Flores and Bill Belichick. Of course, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, who can give me a reason? Let's just ignore the numbers. Even though the numbers weren't great either, completion percentage, it wasn't an accurate quarterback in 2020. What does Tua have to be truly considered a starting franchise quarterback in the NFL? In my opinion, Tua Tagovailoa doesn't have a lot of upside. Great dude. I believe a great leader. But you also have to have an arm. You also have to be accurate. Yes, they address the offensive line. Yes, they got one of your homies from Alabama. We get that. But even if they had Ryan Fitzpatrick in terms of that quarterback duo, in terms of, oh, Fitzpatrick, then Tua, Fitzpatrick, vice versa, it doesn't matter. It's not because Brian Flores is non-capable. He's very capable. He's a great head coach. His second year, they went 10-6. Even if Brian Hoyer was a starting quarterback at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game, even though he's with the Patriots, I would still pick the Bucks. Because Tua Tagovailoa, I don't see anything in him to be a starting quarterback. Next week, Philadelphia Eagles, yet again, I get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning that game. Folks, Jalen Hurts, just like Tua Tagovailoa, I don't see anything in him. But the Bucks in this game, it's going to come down to, can they humble themselves? And then it says, oh, that's so corny. Oh, that's so ridiculous. No, really. It is about humbling yourself. Chicago Bucks are going to win that game. I understand Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, who I think Andy Dalton's a very great quarterback. Nick Foles, but I really hope the Chicago Bears do not rush. Of course, your Justin Fields quarterback coming in, and either this year or next year, you got a good rival, New Orleans Saints. Like I said, treat every game, regardless if it's a divisional game, as a playoff Super Bowl elimination game. take it seriously. It's a rival. Regardless, even though Drew Brees is not there, Drew Brees is retired, Jameis Winston, Tom Brady. We know who obviously the better quarterback is. Just say the name. We get that. Better defense for the Bucs, better receivers, better tight end, better running backs, better everything on paper and on the field. But that does not always necessarily mean that it is a guaranteed win in the NFL. That should tell you. Remember last year, twice in the regular season, the Saints owned the Bucs. But come playoff time, like always, the Saints lose again, and the Saints go marching home in the playoffs. I got the Bucs winning that game, but again, very close. Be humble here. But again, folks, before we kind of head out here in just a couple of minutes here, let's take a quick commercial break. November 14th, Washington, Tampa Bay, a playoff rematch except in the regular season. Even though I have Washington winning the NFC East next year, I think Washington wins this game. I understand that later in the season, by this time, November 14th, the Bucs would have already won the division. So yes, to take it seriously, Tom Brady trying to get back to the Super Bowl, no questions. The Bucs are winning the NFC South. It shouldn't even be a debate. Washington has more to lose in this game than Tampa Bay does in this game. Tampa Bay's already going to win the division. Yes, it's guaranteed per se, but you take every single game seriously because in the NFL, you never know what may or may not happen. New York Giants, I don't know what to expect, folks, of Daniel Jones, Darius Slayton, Trent Taylor, all those guys that they have. The Giants are the Giants. I'm not convinced of Daniel Jones. I'm not even sure if Saquon Barkley is coming back from injury. But is he really going to be healthy? Is he really going to be consistent? I'm not too sure about that one, folks. But these last two games these last couple of games, the Colts, Bucs, we're not sure if Carson Wentz can stay healthy. But Tom Brady, you got the Colts. That's a win. Falcons, that's a win. Buffalo, that's going to be a loss here. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills are going to win the AFC East next year. You heard that here, the AFC East, and I can see them going back to the AFC Championship game. The Saints, I believe they're going to be losing that one because there's going to be a lot of pressure for Jameis Winston to deliver. Could he get that next contract? Yes, Taysom Hill got that huge contract with the Saints, but it's like what I told Trevor in the beginning of the show. It's a bunch of empty calorie stats. That doesn't necessarily mean anything in any way, shape, or form. Carolina, I definitely think that shouldn't be a shocker at all. Bucks, Panthers, it's going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not saying Sam Darnold is a bust. I'm not saying Sam Darnold isn't a great quarterback. I don't trust in Matt Rule, and I don't trust in the Panthers organization. I mean, this team, if you're that convinced of Sam Darnold, I understand Christian McCaffrey last year had injuries, so that could be a big part of it too. A huge piece that they lost in free agency. Curtis Samuel signed with Washington. Your big guy, not just that receiver, running back, tight end. I mean, he can play all these positions. And losing that type of gadget player to another NFC team that's up and coming on the rise versus Carolina, who there's still a lot of questions, even though it's Sam Darnold. Posey is going to be your long-term answer at the starting quarterback position. Who knows? Bucks in that game shouldn't be a question, no doubt. The New York Jets. Oh, the Jets. Zach Wilson is at a disadvantage. Young, inexperienced in the NFL. They call it a rookie season because it's your first year. You're going to make mistakes. That's the whole point. It is a learning experience. It shouldn't be a question at all. Anybody that says that Jets are going to win this game should take their football card taken away. Bucks will win this game. Bucks are beating the Packers January 9th. The end of the season, there's 17 games, 18-week season. If I had to capture the Bucks record before we go kind of to tonight's final thoughts here, I could see the Bucks going 11-6, 12-5 this year. They're winning the division. It's going to be a great season. But folks, let's go to in just a moment into tonight's final thoughts. But give me just a moment. But before we really do, one more time, I apologize. Let me go to a very quick commercial break. For the last part of the show, before we're going to tonight's final thoughts, my final program here, full-length program on the Mi6 Sports Network. I can say, being a guest on the show, first ever episode, fan response, back in August, Stephen Wayne and Ryan Schreiner. It has been an honor. It has been a huge pleasure. Out of all the sports network I've been so far, this one right here for now has been my favorite one. And I apologize, my internet is kind of cutting out here. But all the love and support from the content is something that you really don't expect in this industry here. Again, I apologize, folks. My internet is being weird, so let me turn off my camera here for a moment. But the support, though, because when you start in the sports industry, you're really pretty much a nobody. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows what you're about. But to be here for all the post-show calls, for everything, that all the memories behind the scenes, all the jokes, all the fun, I can say this without a shadow of a doubt that I wouldn't want to be anywhere else the past 5 months. To being a guest for the first time on Fan Response back in August. To being recruited for a while. To come in December. I honestly can't say enough to everybody on the Mi6 Sports Network. For Callan. For everybody on here. For Ryan. For everybody at Mi6 that has given me an opportunity. Words can't measure to how grateful I am, to how blessed I am. I don't do the sports industry for money. I don't care about that. I don't love money. I don't like fame. I'm not trying to be famous. I don't care. That is not a goal of mine. But the overwhelming support from everybody, from Shree, from Ryan, to Martin, to Isaiah, to Callan, to everybody here on the Mi6 Sports Network. I can't thank you all enough for the love and for the support. These past, I'll get the light without, but we'll fix it here after the show. For all the support of my content, for all the help behind the scenes, Callan, for I didn't necessarily know a lot, even when I started way before New York, for over a year, about the sports industry. To all the advice that Callan, you gave me to making my first trailer for my sports show. Like I say in sports, actions speak louder than words. And I can't thank y'all enough for everything you have done, all the love and support, for the trolling, tree. It's all good in love and in fun. I wouldn't trade the last, let's say, from August to May for really anything on the planet. I never thought this day would come, because in life, in the sports industry, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not guaranteed next week. But for all the post-show calls and everything, I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for the support. When I first came on here in Mi6, it wasn't guaranteed that anybody was going to like the content, that anybody was going to even view it, that I wasn't even going to have the view. But to James, Brandon, Christy, Wilson, to everybody, KC King, all the amazing, loyal fans of the Mi6 Sports Network. It's been very overwhelming. It's been crazy. But it is without a shadow of a doubt very humbling for y'all to tune into every show. To not just mine, but to everybody in Mi6. We don't get these fans anywhere else. And I just can't thank y'all enough for all the love and support. From December to now, who really knew what this would come of? Who knew how many shows or how many views? That no matter what happens from here, in his future career endeavor, I will always be a part of Mi6. I will be helping behind the scenes. Callan and I's Marvel podcast will be here, not just for 6 months, not just for a year, but even above and beyond. So I don't know how else to feel but humble to everybody out there that gave me a chance with Mi6. Being a Christian content creator, both combined. They come into a sports network. They also shared my testimony video, which is on the Mi6 YouTube page. You can leave my testimony video where I'd be honest with y'all. My testimony video, what God's done in my life. What God has done in my life right on the Mi6 Sports Network YouTube page. I never would have thought it ended this early. I never would have thought, who knows what would have happened in 5 to 6 to 8 to 10 months. But to Callan, Sammy, to Martin, to Trevor, to Isaiah, to Shree, to everybody here. I can't thank you all more than enough for the support of the show, for the support of me on and off camera, for all the post-show call memories, and all of the above. To all of you at Mi6, to all the fans, cheers. Thank you all so much. Big news coming soon for the future of my career in the sports world, but without a shadow of a doubt, not something I'm looking forward to really. But let's go to tonight's final thoughts. And like I say, folks, doing these shows on Mi6 is a lot of fun. Talking football, in my opinion, or maybe other people can disagree, but I truly believe I'm the most passionate football fan out there. It doesn't matter who you are in the industry. I can and have gone toe to toe with anybody. But like I say with every show, I am not responsible for your mental or physical health if you disagree with anything that I have to say. Yet again, folks, I am not responsible for your mental or physical health if y'all disagree with anything that I have to say. But again, a lot of these shows are so much fun. It is my final one here on the Mi6 Sports Network. I didn't think you would come this early. But I shared the sentiments, and I said this before the show started. Thank you all so much for the support the past 5 months. I can't stress enough. I must have support the love, what Isaiah said, what Trevor said, what Tree said, sending you some vegan barbecue as a going away present. You know what? You're the only person that I would allow to troll me. But I want to thank Brandon. I want to thank James Gonzalez. Of course, Adam Barber from the Coast to Coast Network. So feel free to check out any of that. And feel free to check out any of the Mi6 Sports Network content while sports talk. The Night Shift. No BS. Feel free to check all that out on Anchor, on YouTube, Spotify, on pretty much your video and podcast platforms. You can check out all of the Mi6 Sports Network content to Adam, Brandon, James, to Isaiah from Mi6, to Brandon, to everybody else on here. I can't thank y'all enough. But with dragging into do, it's something that I never thought I would have to do for a very long time. That One Dude 2020 from the Hometown Studios in Georgetown, Texas. This is my final program. That One Dude 2020. Right on the Mi6 Sports Network. That One Dude 2020. Thank you all so much for the support. I'll see you soon. Big announcements coming. August 2nd of this year at midnight. Midnight on August 2nd. We'll have a lot of huge news. But really to kick it off, it's just my final program. Let's kind of enjoy some of the Isaiah Roast Sesh videos before I head off for the night.
Khaled, I honestly think that I will cakewalk through everyone in this league. And
oh, crap. There's a crab behind me. Run. Shoot. No. Ah, damn it. Stop following me.
It's the changing of the guard. Out with the old and in with the new. Goodbye, Indiana. Go to LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets.
Why I talk so much crap about how the Hornets were going to beat the Pacers and how this was the changing of the guard and all that stupid crap. Why?
Really, Isaiah, this last one before we head out for the final program of That One Dude 2020, right on the Mi6 Sports Network.
Hi, Mary. How you doing today? You doing good? Look, it's a beautiful Monday morning.
Without further ado, have a good one. That One Dude 2020. Signing off from the Mi6 Sports Network. God bless and bye-bye.
And if I have seen someone, and I think I said this a while back when he first came on the network, I don't know if I've seen someone with the drive and passion to make it in the industry like I've seen with you. And
truly a rising star in this industry. He knows his stuff. He's not afraid to go at people, and he's a guy that you want to go to bat for. And I'm so thankful that he's part of our network.
Cutthroat. It's very, up and down roller coaster of emotion.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me on, brother. It's always a good time when I get to get on that dude 2020's show. It's just like I feel like I'm at home, feel like I'm sitting in my own, little crib and just talking to my brother across, the table from me. So I'm doing great, man. Today's a beautiful day.
The drive and fire and passion in some people is not quite there for this type of an industry.